Welcome to the Bible Forum. I'm Warren Sprouse. You paying any attention to the impeachment hearings? That's what they're called. And yet there are experts that come on and say there's nothing here, people. According to a Republican memo, there are 4 key pieces of evidence against the Democrat narrative. As they put it, number 1, the July 25 call summary, the best evidence of the conversation, the one in question, shows no conditionality nor evidence of pressure. They say President Zelensky and President Trump have both said that there was no pressure on the call. The Ukrainian government was not aware of a hold on the security assistance at the time of the July 25 call. That President Trump met with President Zelensky and U.S. security assistance flowed to the Ukraine in September of this year, both of which occurred without Ukraine investigating President Trump's political rivals. On the other side, they say the fact-finding is unclassified. The closed-door hearings are purely so Representative Schiff can control information flow. They say Schiff has already fabricated evidence in the past and leaked to the media. He's doing it again with the impeachment inquiry. That the Democrat closed-door hearings are misleading the public. The Democrats have placed a gag order on Republican members present during the hearings, that Schiff has denied Republicans fundamental fairness and minority rights, that Schiff directed witnesses called by Democrats not to answer Republican questions, that Schiff withheld deposition transcripts, and that he broke with precedent and offered no due process protections for the president. With all of that, what did we learn on Wednesday, the first day of these so-called impeachment hearings? And the answer is we learned pretty much nothing. Neither witness ever spoke with the president, nor did they know there was an effort to blackmail a head of state. What they did or do know is that Trump put pressure on the Ukrainian president to provide information regarding a former vice president's son being given a $50,000 or $60,000 a month no-show seat on a board, a questionable board. They're calling it blackmail. They're calling it business as usual. It depends on who you talk to. The aid in Ukraine in question was released before the deadline in September, and no exculpable information was released. The Democrats are saying that the president held up this money in an effort to get the Ukrainian president to do what he wanted. The Ukrainian president didn't do it, but the money was still released. So it wasn't actually blackmail, it was just pressure. Impeachable? No, not really. If you look at what it is to be impeached, this isn't even the discussion that they should be having. But all of this is being called blackmail. But it's being called blackmail by people who have no idea how business is conducted every day by just about every major player in the world. In short, this was a normal gambit for global leaders and business people. So the rest of the week was spent trying to make that proverbial mountain out of this molehill, and we haven't even heard from the other side yet. But if you watch it, when the rebuttals begin, my guess is they'll be overwhelming. So the Democrats and the anarchists will have to back down. No, they won't. They'll just simply find something else. They went after Russiagate. It was a dud. They went after Ukraine Gate. It has proven to be a dud. Will they do it with North Korea? Will they do it with China? And electioneering starts right after the first of the year. Jeffrey Toobin, a CNN lawyer, professor, political liberal, identified the biggest problem with both witnesses on the opening day of the Democrat-led impeachment inquiry on Wednesday, which were, well, facts. That was the biggest problem. Toobin said we heard facts which had been known previously, but with one very important new development. Quote, neither of the men testifying had direct contact with the president. Toobin explained that one of Ambassador William Taylor's aides will testify about a phone call he overheard between Ambassador Sondland and President Trump about Ukraine, after which Sondland explained the intention of the president. Toobin's paraphrase of a quote from the hearing was, the president cares more about investigations of Biden and of the 2016 campaign than he does about anything else relating to Ukraine. He declared, now that's important because the one criticism of these two witnesses, which Toobin thinks is very much legitimate, is not really a criticism but just a factual statement, that neither of them had direct contact with the president. Ever? Asked Jake Tapper. Ever, Toobin said. And you know, he says, that's a problem. It's a problem if you're going to impeach a president. Republican allies of the president have argued in his defense that it was reasonable for Trump to ask for foreign government to look into possible corruption related to Hunter Biden. And the president has decried the proceedings as a witch hunt, denying any wrongdoing. Now, unless you're very young and or not paying attention, I hate to upset you too much, but this is politics. This is the way business has been done as long as I've been on the planet. It's always done behind closed doors in shady little places. It's tit for tat. It's do this for me and I'll give you that. That's just the way life is. And the Democrats have been very much a part of that, as have the Republicans. This is not new. It's just that they can't stand it that their candidate didn't win, and that this guy, this man who knows nothing about Washington, knows nothing about politics, is the president. How can that be? He's not one of us. There's a sizable number of people in the country who look at it and say, you know what? He's not one of us. Or no, rather, he's not one of them. And that's why we like him. He's a rascal. He's immoral. He's got a filthy mouth. It's pretty much under control, but it comes out. He's not really a nice man. But he sure does know how to do business. Did you know that at the end of this week, with these hearings going to try to topple this president, the stock market closed the highest it's probably ever closed, up in the 70, 80 percentile. Business likes him. We've got more people working now than we can ever remember. Yeah, but they don't have a good job. That's not the president's fault. You don't have a good job, that's your fault. Unless you have brain damage, or you just were born without any ability. But if you've got any initiative, you've got anything going for you, go back to school. Go to a trade school. Learn something. Make something of yourself. That's not the president's job. In our town, we have a technical institute. It's full of people. They go in there and they learn how to do stuff. And they have businesses that come in and recruit right out of those classrooms. We got Boeing building airplanes right here in town. They have financed an entire them and Volvo and Mercedes and a couple other smaller companies in town. They have put money together to build a huge new building just to teach kids how to build airplanes and cars and stuff like that. Go get an education. The Democrats want to make you beholden of them. Republicans, by and large, want you to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. I think this is going to turn out just like the last investigation. We're going to go through a couple of years of this. Beginning in January, there's going to be a whole big thing about running for office new end of the year, and it's all going to get swallowed up. And we're going to hear a lot of noise, a lot of fluff. Nothing's going to happen. It's business as usual. It's just they're not the ones doing it. It's not good. None of it. But it is what it is. This is the pot calling the kettle black.